My name is Jocelyn Backer. I am the learning support teacher and also a curriculum coordinator at our school. We are a Lutheran school. We have approximately 200 students, prep to year 7 currently, with our year 1 class is our only double streamed class. Prior to Australian curriculum implementation at St John's, we were solely an outcomes-based school. So starting off with Australian curriculum with standards in a 12-month time frame was a huge shift for all of our teachers in our school. Also our parent body, it was a big shift for them. So first of all, we started off with looking at our school ethos and what's important to us at St John's. Regardless of our curriculum journey, we wanted to keep those integral components at our school, what we wanted our children to be and what we wanted them to look like when they left us at the end of their 7 or 8 years with us. So underpinning our journey at the beginning, we were very, very focused on our people, our priorities, our pace and timing, our processes that we were going to go through, and our philosophy here at St John's. The first part of our planning was very much working out the areas that we needed to work on at St John's. So we mapped our hotspots in maths and English in particular, and we started about filling in those gaps in our children's learning at our school. So what we decided to do was apply for some extra funding, and so that we could run some project work alongside our Australian curriculum implementation. The project work allowed us to invest outside specialists to come up and work with us at St John's so that we could use their expertise. It allowed us to take teachers offline, to allow them to work with myself, to work with one another, and also to work with the outside specialists coming in. Everything that we've done was in consultation with our teachers, and they're driving force behind our implementation journey.
I'm Natasha Higgins. I've been teaching for 9 years and I've been at St John's for 7 years. At the moment I'm teaching year 1 and I teach all subjects and I have a particular interest in geography and history. As a staff we had a lot of PD on the new curriculums as they came out, and I think one of the things that initially shocked us was the amount of descriptors that were within both curriculums, the geography and history curriculum or any curriculum, and I think to start with we were feeling very overwhelmed with the amount of stuff we thought we had to cover, and I think that was because we were looking at every single descriptor and thinking we had to teach each of those very in-depthly, but I think we've found over time as we've progressed that we now know to look at what the essence is and then to take the essence and look at the standard and then develop our lessons and units around that essence and then bring in those descriptors that we can and then go from there.
One of the structures that we put in place was a fortnightly meeting for about an hour that was totally devoted to curriculum development. We also allocated our pupil free days to work on our Australian curriculum preparation. Another area that we needed structure in was to come up with some proformas or templates for our scope and sequence documents, as well as our unit planning. We felt that by coming up with these documents, they weren't set in stone, but they at least allowed us to make sure that we included all areas of the Australian curriculum that we needed to focus on, such as general capabilities, cross-curriculum priorities, as well as our lifelong qualities for learners for Lutheran education.
My name's Peter Bird. I'm a Year 3 teacher currently. Previous to teaching in Year 3, I was a prep teacher last year, and before that I worked for 7 years in the kindergarten at our school. So when I was working in the kindergarten, I was using the early years learning framework, and the transition into moving then to the Australian curriculum was a little challenging at first, but I guess with the Australian curriculum it's very easy to make some of those links and connections between the early years learning framework and the new Australian curriculum, particularly in areas of sustainability, which is one of the cross-curricular priorities in the Australian curriculum, is a very large part of the early years learning framework. And it comes across throughout the Australian curriculum, and also the literacy and numeracy focus that goes across the Australian curriculum, whether it's in the English and maths or in other subject areas, but it's definitely a strong focus throughout, and that very much flows on through the literacy and numeracy. That's a big focus of the early years as well. And I guess another thing that's in the connectedness with the early years is also the connection to the natural environment, connection to family, and there's quite a strong link that I see there when I look at the history and the geography curriculum. There's quite a strong link then between, you know, the connection back to the land and to our families and so forth.
So as part of our English preparation and implementation for the Australian curriculum, we applied for a project grant to work on our developmental reading throughout the school, primarily focusing on comprehension. We felt that as a school that was something that was really important to our students and developing their comprehension across all areas of literacy. So along with our English implementation, we worked on a project called the Developmental Reading Assessment Package, where we were able to accurately assess our students, then from there diagnostically group them according to their individual and group needs. We implemented a whole school data wall that's accessible and visible to all staff throughout the school so that we could track where our students were at throughout their entire journey from prep through to year 7.
My name's Ruth and I am the Year 7 teacher here at St John's Lutheran Primary School in Bundaberg, and I'm the English specialist. One of my favourite things about the Australian curriculum is the focus on literature, because I love using literature in the classroom and it really engages students. I try and resource literature in my classroom through all media that I can access. So we use the library very strongly here, but we also use online resources. We use Scootle, which is fantastic, online books. As much as I can integrate technology into, the more that I do, yes.
My name's Aaron Backer and I'm a teacher at St John's Lutheran Primary School. I'm teaching Year 5 and I'm the maths specialist. Using the new Australian curriculum, I've found has been clear and concise. It's enabled me when planning, I know where I need to take my kids and the learning that needs to happen. I've found with the work samples on the website as well has made it easy for me, being in a single stream school where I don't have other classes in the same year level, to compare work samples. So that gives me an idea of where the kids need to be in a variety of year levels, so it helps with my reporting and assessing. Also having the ease of access of the website enables me to find the relevant content that I need, and the different filters as well make it more specific if I'm looking for that information.
Assessment and reporting to our parents had to be an upfront priority for us during our journey due to the fact that we were outcomes based and we were changing to Australian curriculum with standards. So it wasn't just a big mind shift for us as teachers, but also for our parents. So what we decided to do was liaise with our parent body. We interviewed some parents, we got some feedback through surveys from our parents, and we looked at the things that they wanted from reporting at our school. We then started to hold a series of parent information evenings where we invited parents to come along, and we started off by talking to them and explaining to them about the Australian curriculum. We explained to them our strategic plan at St John's, and then we started working on a report card that suited our needs at our school, our students' needs and our parents' needs. During that journey of redesigning our report card, we continually had feedback from parents and education nights for them so that they were very much a part of our journey.
So we had a look at different places. So for example, at this picture of Bargara Beach, and we talked about the different features that we can find in those places. We learnt that we can have natural features and that we can have constructed features. Since using the Australian curriculum, I've noticed that the students are a lot more engaged with their learning, and they're starting to really point out different things that they can see. So for example, with the constructed and natural features that we've been learning about, even just out in the playground, they'll come up to me when I'm on playground duty and tell me that they've noticed that something's natural or something's constructed, and they're very excited about their learning. And I think that excitement for the world that they live in is something that has come out of us, our learning within the history and geography curriculum.
So at this point, because we implemented our first phase subject areas fairly quickly, we've found that it's going to be really important for us to now revisit those areas and to ensure that we are covering each area with depth and rigour. We've allowed the teachers to provide feedback to us, to allow us to then provide them with professional development opportunities to upskill in different areas that they've found we needed to fill in at our school. I think one of the exciting aspects of implementing an Australian curriculum is that it's going to allow us all to have a consistent approach to teaching and learning throughout every state in Australia. It also allows us to have clear directions at our schools so that our students, our parents and our teachers all know where we're heading in the future.